Hi friends, and welcome to Life Coach London. I'm Emily and I'm a life coach based in London. Today we're going to think about time wasting. What is it, why do we do it, and how can we stop? So get yourselves nice and comfy and we shall begin. Chop chop! Time is a finite resource. One day, for each of us, time will run out because we'll be dead. It's sad, but true. And even though we know that, still we let time slip through our fingers. And often when we realise we've done that, we get very frustrated, we judge ourselves, we become demotivated and apathetic, and then we waste more time. So how do we get out of that cycle of time wasting? I've got a few strategies to approach this with, and I'm going to come back to this topic again in the future. But for today, let's just think about breaking down this idea of time wasting. This is going to require you to do some thinking. And if you need to, please pause the video at any time. I will still be here when you press play. Firstly, I'd like you to picture one thing that you do that fritters your time away. So something that makes you say to yourself, why did I waste time on that thing? But then you do it again. It could be anything like repeatedly giving your time to people who you don't actually like, or spending too much time drifting about on social media with no real purpose, or hitting the snooze button 15 times in a row instead of just getting up with your alarm. So take a moment to get that activity or inactivity firmly in your mind. What is one thing you do that fritters your time away? Now that you've got that activity in your head, I invite you to think about how you feel when you know you've wasted that time. So you've wasted 47 minutes on Instagram, and now how do you feel about that? It is sapping minutes, hours, years from your life, this activity. How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel in one sentence? Can you say it out loud? Can you write it down? Or can you just say it in your head? How does that make you feel? Now, how does that make you feel in one word? Crappy, useless, tired, inefficient. Those are my words. You can come up with your own, or you can pick one of mine. And then consider, what is it for you, this time wasting? What does that actually mean to you? What is it about for you? Why do you think that you do this thing that wastes your time? Is it a way of avoiding doing something more meaningful or important to you? A lot of what we do that leaves us feeling tired and frustrated or angry or guilty boils down to fear of something. So is there something that you fear, or something that you're avoiding, that means you keep doing this time-wasting activity instead? Now, going back to that time-wasting activity, what would you rather be doing with your time? What would be a better or more meaningful use of your time? What would you rather do instead? Can you say or think or write, I would love to do that activity instead? So I would love to go swimming instead of oversleeping my alarm in the morning. I would love to eat cake. I would love to get a bit more work done. I would love to write the first page of my novel. I would love to have more time to read a book. Whatever it is, try and say it out loud. It can be anything. It can be, I would love to learn a craft. I would love to do some crochet. So just whatever that activity is that you would rather be doing instead of the time-wasting activity. Let's call it a useful activity. Now, when you think about that activity you'd rather be doing, that useful activity, how does it make you feel when you're doing it? What is it about that thing that you like so much? And how does that useful activity compare with the time-wasting one? So usually the time-wasting one ultimately will sap our energy, and the thing that excites us will give us energy. So just see if you can contrast those two feelings associated with those activities. So what is it that makes you choose the time-wasting activity over the useful activity? Just be honest with yourself. What is it that makes you choose the time-wasting activity over the useful activity? I think it's important to take a moment and think, rather than just it's there or it's easy. What is it really? What are you masking or hiding or trying to avoid with the time-wasting activity? Now, what if for just one day, you do the thing you love instead? You do the useful activity instead. So the moment you find yourself reaching for the snooze button or going to just mindlessly scroll through your phone, what if you stop yourself and have a go at beginning the useful activity? And could that day that you try and do that, could that be today or tomorrow? Could you do it now? Every time that you do that time-wasting activity, could you question that reflex? So just be aware, oh, I'm doing this thing that I don't actually enjoy. And think, okay, what could I do instead? It's about making this more conscious so that you're a bit more aware of what you're really doing with your time. And it can feel overwhelming to think, okay, from now on forever, I'm only going to do this very productive activity. But could you just try it for one day, for 1 hour even, and just give it a go so that it doesn't feel like a massive hurdle to be overcome? Can you just try for one day to get up with your alarm, or to not spend half an hour just on your phone scrolling, but read a book instead? Could you manage that? There are thousands of ways to think about the subject of time wasting, and we will return to it again. But I hope that that's just provoked a few thoughts for you, and I hope that that has given you the impetus to just change one small thing about your habits, your day-to-day life. As always, please comment and let me know if this was useful to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.